The other strike over on the other side of the coast, the 118-day strike by Hollywood actors. Their union reached a tentative agreement with the studios on Wednesday. Edits Tianshan has the details from Hollywood.
There was a sense of relief, but also disbelief and surprise among Hollywood actors when an unexpected announcement came from their union SAG-AFTRA that they had reached a tentative contract deal with the major film studios.
It doesn't seem real, it doesn't seem like it can be over just like that. I was expecting it to be like a few more weeks, months into January, and then it's just over. And so my brain's still trying to catch up and process, oh my God, we did it. We did it. Yeah.
The strike lasted for nearly 4 months, and some actors who sacrificed other side jobs to stay on the picket lines really felt the financial burden.
I think that's why we're all so filled with emotion. It's been really challenging. You know, we have a lot of our strike captains on the line that have been close to eviction and have had their only meal of the day be while they're striking. So it has not been easy.
But the gains made in the new labor contract are worth it, according to the SAG-AFTRA negotiating committee members who voted unanimously to support the new deal.
The sacrifice is great, but the gains, because we have a contract that's better than the last 5 contracts that we've ever had in SAG-AFTRA. So we made some really substantial gains this time.
The new 3-year contract is valued at more than $1 billion, and it includes increases in minimum salaries, bonus payments from streaming platforms, as well as protections against the use of artificial intelligence, which had recently become a major concern for performers whose images or voices were digitally reproduced without their approval. The agreement is expected to be ratified following a vote by SAG-AFTRA's board and members later this month, but many agree that getting film studios back into their pre-strike days could still take longer. It is Tianshan, CGTN, Hollywood.
For more on this big tentative deal, Tom Ara, co-leading the media, sports, and entertainment at the global law firm DLA Piper. Good to see you again, sir. Last time I think we talked about this. We were talking about the AI. We were talking about the streaming. Sounds like we got to a deal. These two sticking points, how did they come to an agreement?
Hey, Phil. Well, thanks for having me on. After 5 months of WGA strike, we have a deal now on the actors strike. And it's, I guess, an early Christmas present or holiday present for members of the union and the industry. The two issues, as you noted, that were hard fought, in addition to the minimum increases, which were substantial, were the streaming revenue share and the artificial intelligence issues. On AI, the issue really came down to the wire. In fact, when the studios made their last best and final offer last Friday, the AI issue seemed to remain open. And the main concern really was around use of the likeness of actors of the Guild without their consent or permission after one performance covered by the Guild agreement. What ended up coming out of this agreement, it appears, and the details are yet to be released, but what we've surmised is effectively the actors got most of these protections that they were seeking. As Duncan Crabtree Ireland stated, who's the chief negotiator for the Guild, if you're using Brad Pitt's smile and Jennifer Aniston's eyes, both would have a right of consent, and they seem to have gotten that.
Well, I do think it's fair. I mean, it's like a college football player can sell the likeness. Why can't any of us? Not to interrupt you, but the streaming issue was the other big deal. And my understanding is it had something to do with essentially things being successful. The views, I guess, divided by the time that people watch. I mean, I'll just put it more clearly. It's ad dollars, and if there's ad dollars, then those ad dollars get shared. Did the actors win out on this one?
Well, not entirely. They did get a win, and the win was along the lines of the success that the WGA had with the studios on the same issue. Coming in, what the union wanted was really a direct percentage of the platform's revenues, as one studio executive referred to it as a levy. That is not where this deal appears to have ended up. Again, details have not been released, but what appears to have resulted in this agreement is something similar to streaming participation bonuses that the Writers Guild received in their contract, which are tied to very successful shows and the performers on those very successful shows receiving bonuses.
I don't want to throw cold water on this. So the writers, they got an agreement. The actors, it's a tentative agreement. I think it's expected to clear out. Next year, the IATA group, or IATSA group, which is sort of the more folks in the back that are producing these shows, their agreement apparently is up, is my understanding. So if everyone's getting more, I'm going to make the assumption that these other union, this one specifically, by next year, they're probably having a discussion now as well, right?
Well, I think the question of whether they're having a discussion is uncertain at this point yet with the studios, because the studios obviously have been very busy trying to reach a conclusion with these two other major unions. But as you note, IATSE, also known as the International Association of Stage Theater Employees, has its contract expiring next June. And they are looking for some pretty aggressive improvements in their agreement, including not just minimum increases, but the rumor is that they are also going to be seeking something called residuals, which they've never had. And that is going to be a very sticky point, touchy subject and sticking point in that negotiation, which hopefully gets underway sooner than later so we don't have another strike.
The issue here, I looked at the stocks when we saw the headlines, and there wasn't much sort of excitement reaction, at least from investors or from the companies, and one has to wonder, can they afford to pay all the increases in salaries and residuals? I mean, there's a lot of money that we're talking about. This is a massive business, but somebody is going to end up paying the bill.
Well, that's right. I mean, I think the studio executives, some of them at least, have said as much, that there will be some costs of these increases passed on to the consumers. What we will likely also see is just simply a reduction in the number of productions. In fact, I think some of the studios and streamers have already announced that they are reducing their slates for the coming year. So I think it will have a multiple layer effect, and certainly profits will suffer as well to some extent. But ultimately, this was necessary to get the industry back to work and on its feet, and it appears that we're in that direction now.
And let's talk about back to work, because you know, making content is not just turning on a light switch and everybody's back again. There are a lot of people involved, and there's a lot of planning involved. What's the timeline? When does everything get back to normal? Are we talking about weeks, or are we talking about months?
Sure. Well, the picket signs have already come down, so that's a positive sign. The next thing that will happen is the board of SAG-AFTRA will consider this agreement and approve it, and then submit it to its members for ratification. 160,000 members of SAG-AFTRA will approve this, likely a foregone conclusion if the board recommends approval. And very quickly thereafter, we will have production starting back up again. There are a number of major films, Gladiator being one of them, that will get underway in production. Some were stalled and will start up again. Of course, the other important thing that will happen here is we're in awards season here in Hollywood. Oscars are coming up in the beginning of the new year, as well as the Globes and others. And it's important that these actors can get back out promoting their projects for awards, as well as those that are getting ready to be released theatrically, which they haven't been able to do due to the strike.
Of course, the all-important awards. By the way, if we're giving awards, Tom, I think you might deserve one, because I think I recall you saying that we would get a deal done by the end of the year, and here we are. So I'll send the award to you in the mail.
I appreciate that, Phil. Thank you. And I'm more happy for the industry that this happened. I don't need an award.